Good day, everyone. My name is Ruton once again. Welcome to Market Views. Today I'm with Faro, as usual, discussing what's been going on in the market. Quite interesting. Last week on ZSC, we saw an increase in value, about 4 billion worth being traded on the exchange. The market going up over 14% in the past week. I think that's really the overview of what's been going on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. However, in the past week, the major thing that happened for analysts and even most investors is Delta gave us their full year results, which were quite interesting. Not what we expected, but in the positive side. Rufaro, can you give us an overview of what these results had and what this might mean to a basic investor and even to the economy at large?
Thank you, Yuton. So Delta is an interesting one. Like you mentioned, it's one of the biggest companies on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. But not only that, it's also a key player in the economy. So the Delta numbers are not only interesting to us capital markets participants, but to the economy at large. And looking at these numbers, of course, revenues will be up in inflation-adjusted terms. I don't think those are the interesting things because it's under an inflationary environment, and usually you see that a lot with a lot of companies. Revenues up, net profit up, and so. But what I found quite interesting was the increase in volumes, the hectoliters, because they deal with beverages. They quantify in hectoliters across all boards. You can certainly say the volumes were up. In the sparkling beverages, volumes were up over 30%. In the sorghum, in the clear beer, all the volumes were up. So looking at comparing with the past 5 years, you can clearly see that this was a stellar year for Delta, because you are reaching high volumes, probably something that you last saw in 2013 when the economy was really pumping, or in 2019 where there was that whole illusion between the US dollar and the local currency. So across all board, volumes were up. But where I found it very interesting was in the sparkling beverages. A new player came in the past 5 or so years, which is Varan Beverages.
Yes.
And yes, basically shifted the whole market dynamics. It's now very competitive space. And if you just walk around town, go to a function, or just look at the shelf space in every shop, you're likely to notice that Varan Beverages, Pepsi occupy more of the shelf. People are drinking more of that compared to Delta. And in the recent past, you are seeing a decrease in the hectoliters volumes to under 1 million on average. But this year we are seeing not only an increase in the hectoliters that way, so think above 1.7 million hectoliters, but also an increase in market share, so to speak. So you're seeing market share is now just under 60%, which I found quite interesting. So this was according to a third party who did the research. Is Delta really controlling 60% of the sparkling beverages industry? I don't know. Not only as an analyst, but as an economic agent, as you are moving around. Is that the sense that you get?
I think on this issue, it's more to do with they don't disclose the method they used to calculate this market share. It might be from the wholesale perspective, maybe a selected group of supermarkets or even retail outlets. So we tend to maybe doubt, but as highlighted, it's something I am not really for. I think it's, if not 50-50, it might be less. But I think you gave us a quite an interesting point of using Delta to highlight the macroeconomic link 2013 to their results, 2019 to their results. I think this is something we have to look at. So from these results we got for the past year, what do you see, what has been happening on the market, be it as the sector on the alcohol side? Does it come maybe to the volumes? I think the interesting thing about Delta is their results are quite detailed. They tell you depending on the town, where is the most of their customers. I think Harare controls about 30-something%, 36% of their revenues. So from these results, what can you say about the economy in Zimbabwe and the macroeconomic space here in Zimbabwe?
Thank you. I think that's a very interesting question, and it gives us an opportunity to really talk a lot about what's happening in the economy using Delta as a proxy. So the question we've often grappled with is what percentage of our economy is US dollar? Are we going to dollarize, all those questions around that? And Delta is highlighting that about 60% of their revenue is in the hard currency. So Delta is a good proxy to just see that probably a significant portion of our economy has now dollarized. Looking at what really triggered the increase in sales volume for Delta. So mining activities was highlighted as one of the key major drivers of volume in the financial year 22, and also activities across the periphery, the construction that's happening. So, when a lot of construction activities are happening, there's the Beitbridge Masvingo Road being constructed. There seem to be activity in those areas, and it was also another key revenue driver for Delta in this financial year. And also just the velocity of money. So, when you're in an inflationary environment, in local currency, you don't want to keep that money. So if you are holding money today, you try to purchase something as quick as possible. So that to some extent had an effect on the Delta numbers. So yeah, Delta is an interesting counter. It gives you, and like you said, Delta gives us very detailed information. When you look at, they tell you the skewness, what percentage of premium products were consumed versus the bulk, which is the average of in terms of the quality, and the one which is at the bottom. And you can see that the middle class is sort of like tilted from FY21 to 22. So most moved to the premium, the quality. So contrary to what we might think, according to what Delta is telling us, that there is a significant portion of people who have sort of like moved into the premium top quality brands, and would want to take that to mean even in the economy, in as much as we want to believe that things are a bit tough. The evidence suggests that there are quite a significant portion that's moving to the premium top quality brand.
Okay, thank you for that. I think towards the end, now I'm just going to talk about the future of Delta. You highlighted an issue of competition coming from foreign beverages. I think that's from the sparkling beverage side, and also we cannot neglect the alcohol side from the import. A lot of illegal imports coming in. You see almost people opening their small shops selling alcohol at very low prices. This is also affecting the Delta as a company. So what's the best way, do you think, Delta can help themselves in this space? Is it new production line? As well, they quite an interesting figure on the capital expenditure. And moving forward, are we going to see maybe a better results coming from Delta in the next year? And also to add on to that question, there is an issue of our not quite good rainy season last year, and this has always been quite affecting Delta's revenue, especially on the sorghum side, the sorghum alcohol. How do you think these factors might affect Delta's results in the next year? And also, you can maybe give us, what do you suggest, is it a buy or a sell for the count?
Okay, thanks, Newton. So I think Varan Beverages was a wake-up call. So, there's been always this thing that Zimbabwe is a coke market. Yes. Like they say, no, this is a coke market. Until Varan Beverages came into the scene, and actually Delta realizes that no, you can actually lose a significant part of your market share. So Delta has always been this giant, but I think they now know that if you slack you can lose a significant chunk of your market share, and there's really nothing called consumer loyalty.
Yes.
If a consumer can find something that's better to them, they can easily switch. So I'm sure Delta should be thinking along those lines to say, okay, we slipped there and a new competitor came. How best can we make sure that we service our market the best, especially in the laggards? So I think they were able to remain on their feet because more than 40% of their revenue come from the beer side,
yes.
As compared to the sparkling and all those others. So it doesn't contribute much. But if we're going to see significant competition on the beer side, the alcoholic, then it's going to be really tough for them. So like you were saying, they've highlighted that they are going to be investing in production lines for both the sparkling and the beers in FY23. So I think the strategy is to make sure that they increase their production so that they can wipe out any small competition that's there already, so that nobody gets a funny sense that they can actually come and compete in that market like happened. So it's a really tough space. I think Delta is now aware that they can come somebody and completely revolutionize the market. It's not like they're a monopoly. Competition can come, and which makes it very interesting. Whether it's a buy or sell, look, apart from all the numbers, you then have to look at the market. It's very important in an inflationary environment. Look at how the market works. Delta is one of the best performing counters. It's one of the most liquid counters. On a weekly basis, it moves the most volume. Because of that, there is value that's attached to that has nothing absolutely to do with the financials that are being released. Basing on that, I think you can get good money if you invest in Delta. Why? Because most of the money that comes on the market, they get into Delta. Money from pension funds, money from institutional investors, they get into Delta, which makes it very liquid. So if you are hedging against inflation, you want to be in a counter such as Delta. But the numbers look really good. The revenues were up. But like I said, almost every counter is reporting that.
Right. Thank you, Rufaro, and thank you everyone for being with us to the end. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you next week.